Yeah, they have bombers. Yep. So I mean, it's a very nice setup in here.
Yeah.
And it's very large, and it's a great place to hang out.
And I like their light fixture above the bar, because I'm almost positive that's a copper still top.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Because I go to New Ulm every year for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
We get to see the old copper stills they have.
Okay, yeah.
That is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's cool.
So yeah, we're again here at the Utepils, having a good time. Lots of people here. There's birthday parties. There's at least 2 birthday parties I see. They have a pool table here, which we haven't been to a brewery yet that's had a pool table in it, have we?
No,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So
they've got their game corner.
They got their game corner like every brewery has.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great time here. So let's get into. Oh, and Sterling, what are you drinking right now?
Yeah, so I'm drinking the Eyemouth, which is a Scottish style pale.
So, Scottish style pale. I mean, what is it?
So interestingly, I have never had a Scotch ale that wasn't like a wee heavy, heavy ones.
Yeah, the heavy ones. Yep.
So, I mean, I would say it's kind of like a standard pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit more maltiness to it.
Maybe they add that kind of that wee heavy type of flavoring to it.
Yeah, I mean
it's
a little bit more caramely than a
sure.
English pale.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that the hops. I mean, the IBUs must be super low. I think they say.
Yeah, it's 43.
Yeah. It's a good drinker. I might get it as the growler.
Yeah, growler, that stuff.
Yeah,
huh?
I might.
And of course, you're drinking something that something you can only get here at the brewery.
Right. Yep.
They have a couple things. Your Broomstacker was another brewery exclusive. Well, actually, no.
No, that's got cans.
Broomstacker, they have the cans. That's one of their seasonal rotations. There are, I think, 3 or 4 beers up here that you can only get at the brewery.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. I really want to try that Quadriga, the quadruple, but that's 10%er.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can even handle that right now.
I mean, I wouldn't even, if I got the bomber, I'd have to have someone to drink it with.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine doing a 750 of that? It'd be like drinking a bottle of wine.
Now, side note, I used to be a big 750 bottle guy. I used to buy them all the time. When I first started getting into craft beers, I was buying the European ones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a couple that I think it was like 8 or 9%. And I drink the whole bottle in a night.
Well, I mean, a bottle of wine is what, 12 to 15% maybe. So I mean,
I know,
750 of 10%.
I mean, unless you're getting a white wine that's like 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm saying,
speaking as far as red wine.
But who drinks a whole bottle of wine?
Yeah, who does? John Andruski?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, once you open it, you don't want it to go. You don't want it to spoil, go to waste.
I guess. Well, that's the same thing with the beer, though.
Yeah, but you can usually get a bottle. You cork it well.
Yes.
You can usually get it to last at least another day.
And at the very least.
I mean,
and you can buy those those nice stoppers. And if you really want to get fancy,
we have the technology now.
We do
to put stuff on top of things.
Yeah.
Beer, however, though, I don't think it works very well for beer.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just not as appeasing either.
No.
Like it doesn't sound good.
You got to drink that fast, and that's what I do.
I've done it with a 750 of cider.
Yeah.
Where I put a topper in it and then let it sit. Because I mean, it's not as carbonated or anything.
No.
Yeah, beer. Yeah, it doesn't.
Beer's a bad thing to be trying to stop and doing that stuff with. So let's get back into the MLS Players Union.
Yeah.
The leader of that, what's his name?
Last name's Foose. I don't know what his first name is.
So he's leader of the MLS Players Union. He came out with a nice...
Bob Fuse.
Was he responding to Alexei Lawless
Yeah.
with that letter or not?
No, I think that letter... It stemmed from the Pulisic transfer, which we're going to talk about. I don't remember exactly where that letter came from, why it was written,
So, backstory, and Dave, jump in if I'm getting anything wrong here. Backstory is academies in the United States are pay to play.
Right.
So, you want to be in a soccer academy, you're paying to be at that academy.
Yeah, a few $1,000s at least. Yeah.
So, of course, that gets into the whole concept of If you don't have money, you're
Right.
not going to be playing in that academy.
And then, of course, that gets into well, what about these specifically Latin American players who
Exactly.
are very poor, generally immigrants? We're ignoring them.
Or let's go farther than that, inner city youth.
Inner
kids.
city youth, yep.
You're talking about the African American population, soccer players there.
And I can see it too, like in the city that I live in, Plymouth has, it's called the Plymouth Fusion. It's their soccer academy, their soccer club. But yeah, it's not cheap. I don't know exactly what it costs, but these parents are paying for these clubs, and they're not cheap.
And even my wife and I, who do well for ourselves, I would never pay
No.
$4,000 to send either of my kids to soccer.
And that's the ballpark we're talking. Thousands, even for like the Plymouth Fusion, you're talking thousands of dollars a year. Yeah.
And I'm kind of in that same boat myself. My youngest daughter is now big into soccer, and she's actually pretty talented at soccer at 6 years old, right? And I'll pay for the Rogers Youth League because it's $50 a year, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if she wants to go into an academy, even girls, women's soccer, I'm not going to pay the thousands of dollars for her to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, for me, it's pointless. If they want me to be in an academy, then they have to pay. They should be paying for it.
Right, and so it really begs the question, both on the men's and women's side, how often are our national teams passing up talent because that talent simply can't pay for it?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Because I look at baseball as an example. That's not pay to play. There's no pay to play, and there's little league teams, and of course they pay for that.
Yeah.
But some of the academies down in Dominican Republic, those guys in Dominican Republic do not pay to be in that academy.
The Major League Baseball clubs are paying for that.
And you know why they do? Because they're looking for youth that are going to go up to become major leaguers.
Right, and that's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
And Major League Soccer's getting better at that. Minnesota United, you have to pay to be in their academy. Mm-hmm. But that makes sense. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, Atlanta's academy does not cost anything.
Well, let's stop with Atlanta right now because at this podcast, I want to get into there's a Twitter thing going on. On Twitter about United hating Atlanta.
Yeah, yes.
And I want to talk about that a little bit because there's a reason why. There are numerous reasons why we hate them. And,
right.
Yeah, whatever. But
I like to say friendly banter.
Friendly banter, sure. But the deal is this. The head of their union had a letter stating basically that they're never going to go this way. It's always going to be pay to play.
Right. They refuse to do solidarity payments.
Yep.
They consider it a violation of player rights.
And he kind of roundabout way said if money goes into those academies, the executives will get it because it's a business and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's why they said they won't. That's exactly how they treat it. They treat it is a business.
Yeah, exactly.
But now the big thing is I think a lot of these academies are pay to play because they don't have other funding.
No.
So maybe we can slide into the Pulisic conversation. Anybody that's a soccer fan knows that he just transferred to Chelsea.
Yep.
$73 million transfer, I believe it was.
And the first American player to get
that much money.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a record. I mean, like it's more it's more than triple what John, what like Wolfberg paid for John Brooks in 2017.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I mean it's huge transfer. Chelsea is one of the bigger English clubs. It's one of the bigger clubs in Europe. In Europe, even though Dortmund is too.
Dortmund's big.
Yeah, but obviously Americans, we gravitate towards either Real Madrid, Barcelona, or the English clubs.
Yep.
Chelsea has the second largest following in the U.S. for English clubs. So this is a big deal. A huge transfer. It was estimated that Pennsylvania Classics, which was his club team, would receive $730,000.
Yeah.
For solidarity training payments.
Yeah, I think
from this transfer.
And it was they were entitled to at least 548,000,
Yes.
and it could approach $1 million depending on how they treated his time in the U17s while he was still a part of that PA Classic.
Yeah,
so it varied, but
it's incredible. And so this is my point. Everything's pay to play.
Yeah.
It's pay to play because they need to, recoup the costs that they're putting into training these players, sending them out on traveling trips.
Mm-hmm.
$700,000, $1 million, even $400,000 on the low end. PA Classics would be raking in the money from one player.
That's right.
So I mentioned in our text exchange, I was like, okay, so the PU is concerned that all that money is going to go to the executives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why can't USSF step in and say, all right, we're going to regulate it a bit?
Exactly.
So we're going to say, all right, if it's over this amount, you have to withhold charging of fees for X number of years.
That's right. That's right.
Something like that to control how these teams spend their money.
Or say it has to go into your training, your stadium, or your training, whatever it is.
Right.
There can be a structure there.
Exactly.
Where executives get a little bit of it because they want it, because it's their deal, but not all of it.
Right.
And for the record, you know why? The reason that the U.S. Soccer Federation has forbidden these payments is basically it's all the lawyers. They're worried about everything from literally child labor laws, violating child labor laws, or they're worried that they'd have litigation that resulting from antitrust or it comes back to the MLS Players Association. Yeah. They're basically worried about those legal issues that potentially could come with this money. So groups like the PA Classics are basically saying no, we aren't going to pursue that.
Right. They don't even want to try it.
They're more or less being told not to by their lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because you have DeAndre Yedlin. His. I believe, if I remember correctly, his club actually attempted to get money.
No, that's still ongoing, actually.
Is it? Okay.
So he's from Washington, right?
Yeah.
So his club is called the Crossfire Premier, and that is an active claim. And basically, not a lot of people are pursuing this, or but they are. And basically, they're still in front right now, and that dates back to the 2014 transfer to Tottenham.
Yeah, and you have players like Alphonso Davies, who now he's Canadian, but he just went to Bayern Munich for $21 million, I think it was.
Yeah.
You have John Brooks at Wolfsburg. You have Timothy Way at PSG.
And then actually I mentioned John Brooks and his 20. Previously, the biggest transfer was 20 million euros, $22 million to Wolfsburg in 2017. But that was a U.S. men's national player.
Yep.
The actual record for a U.S. born player like Pulisic is prior to Pulisic was Josie Altidore for $10 million to Sunderland in 2013.
Yep. And then Dempsey's gone overseas. I don't think Donovan's been an issue. He never went overseas, but
no. Well,
you have a lot of players. I would say maybe half the U.S. roster, maybe not quite that high, is in Europe.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things you have to talk about this.
Yeah,
we don't want to give up talent because we're forcing these kids to pay money.
Yeah,
exactly right.
And this is unusual. And when we talk about solidarity payments like we are now, and I think basically the underlying message for me that I take out of this is that what Bob Fuson said and what their policy is, that's not going to change as far as these solidarity payments going to these clubs. And it's not going to change until the U.S. is in a system where we are not paid to play.
And I think we're not going to change until those solidarity payments happen.
So it's a chicken and egg.
It's chicken and egg.
And so for me, USSF has finally said, well, Sunil Gulati said as he was leaving USSF, in the spring.